Hi, and welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Today we're going to ask, did I make the right decision? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. My name is Kale Houser, your host and founder and co-founder of Kale Houser Leadership, where we, between my wife and I, the amazing Liz Houser, have developed a company that is focused solely on you as a small business owner. We want to help you become more confident in how you lead or gain confidence in general. We want to help you create connected teams that can actually work together and ultimately inspire teams that actually want to be with you and help you grow your business. Because if you've learned nothing else by listening to me by now, is you need people. If you want to grow beyond just you working at local crafts fairs and doing that thing and being a very, very small business or a solopreneur, you need other people to help you grow. And we're all about how those relationships work, what processes you can put in place to make those most effective, and really to create this just incredibly dynamic and motivated and inspired team that can take your business to the next level. That is mutually beneficial all around. So make sure you visit, if you haven't yet, visit kalehouser.com. We've got some pretty great resources on there. There's a spot to book a call with Liz or I so we can help you with your business, whatever specific challenge you're facing right now. As long as it doesn't go into the realm of legal troubles or financial troubles. We're not loan officers or lawyers by any stretch of the imagination, so don't expect that if you book a call with us. But if you're having problems communicating with your team, relating to your team, getting your team to show up on time, getting your team members to put in what you're expecting of them as far as the form of effort and work and time, then absolutely book a call with us. We can help you with that. And also, if you have not yet already, visit kalehouserleadership.com to download your free guide of really how to start with these 10 words that will start that relationship and start bridging that gap between a disconnected team and a connected team. Those will both be hugely beneficial resources to you. All right, so getting to today's topic, we are talking about what ultimately comes down to doubt and self-doubt. This is a core issues that pretty much everyone deals with at some point in their life. We tend to figure out as young people, whether it be during puberty or even high school or college years, as we run into these setbacks and we run into these challenges that really start to have us doubting ourselves. And it could be anything. It could be in relationships. It could be in the skills that you're trying to acquire or perfect or hone. It could be in, a job that you've started. It could be in a venture that you're trying to do or some task that you're learning or taking on, right? You're trying to learn Russian or some new language or Chinese, and you have these doubts because it's so difficult and you're running into these roadblocks, and it creates a lot of self-doubt. And you start asking yourself, did I make the right choice in this thing? Did whatever led me to choose to go on this path and start doing these actions and taking these steps towards this achievement of this goal, did I make the right choice? And then ultimately, a step further of that am I the right person for this? And not so much, obviously, if you're learning a new language or something that's just difficult, but if you stepped out and starting a new venture, or you're wanting to do this big service project in your community or in your church, or you want to go on a mission trip, right? All these types of things that by the nature of them and you trying to do something new and something that requires effort and a lot of buy-in from other organizations, agencies, people, you can run into these items or these times of self-doubt. And you start asking yourself, am I the right person for this? Did I make the right choice in choosing to do this thing? And I can 100% relate. I can 100% be honest with you and say, I deal with these same things. Because anytime we have this setback, anytime we run into a unanticipated roadblock or a naysayer, right? Like, oh my gosh, social media, it seems at times that's all there is out there is people that are like, you suck, go home, go back to doing what you were doing, or stop trying to, get your name known out there. And you run into these, just for lack of a better term, roadblock and these stumbling blocks, and they can really if you let it, they can really start hammering on your self-worth and creating these doubts in you. And I want to address that specifically today and tell you right now, if you have gone through this process of analyzing, weighing options, pros and cons, these various experiences you've had with this thing you're trying to do, whether it be business or a relationship or an event, whatever that is for you, you've already convinced yourself that you are the right person for it. At some point, you came to a decision where you could have said, no, I'm not going to go do that. No, I'm not going to go on that mission trip to Uganda to serve, people that don't have access to water. I'm not going to go out and dig wells. You could have easily said that and said, instead I'm going to go play golf or do whatever that you like to do on your off time and with your resources that you have. You could have said, instead of saying yes to opening your own law practice and law firm, you could have said, no, I'm just going to stay comfortable where I'm at. I'll be an employee of this other firm, and maybe, in time I'll move up to be a partner and all those things instead of the headaches of opening your own practice. Same things if you're a CPA, all those types of things. A dentist, you could be part of a larger dental group so where you don't have to worry about being your own kind of entrepreneurial dentist, or you can step out and do your own. So at some point, as you've gone through this process, you decided and you convinced yourself, probably evidence-based, not just complete blind faith, of, yes, you were the right person for this, that you can do this job, you can do this thing, you can do this event, and that you are making the right choice. And that's something that we constantly need to remind ourselves, because it is so easy to be influenced by outside forces, especially when you don't necessarily know where they're coming from, right? There's this general feeling of, oh, nothing is working for me. I've had this time and time again. Like, it just seems like everything I try to do fails and I'm not connecting, excuse me, and I'm not, the results that I'm hoping for and expecting out of these actions and resources that I'm putting into this thing, is not giving me the return that I need or wanted or even at all close to what I expected. And it just creates this doubt. And the question is, how do we move past that? How do we keep going? Because certainly many, many, many people every day, time and time again, they quit. They stop. They go, nope. I'm not the right person for this. I did not make the right choice, and now I need to go over and do this other thing. Now, absolutely, there are cases where that is the case, where you have run into something that was way over your head, you were completely ill-prepared for, and even then you get to decide, do I push through it? Do I find the resources I need to be successful in this and rise to these extra challenges? Or do you say, that is way beyond my ability or resources or even sphere of influence to find how to do that? Okay, I would say for me that's, we won't go into that too much, but you understand that point. There is a time to stop what you're doing when it hasn't been successful or it hasn't been the results that you had. So for instance, Liz and I bought a investment property up in Orlando that we thought was going to be fantastic for us. It was going to provide us, it was a vacation rental not too far from Disney World as part of this bigger resort. And after doing our due diligence, yes, it was expensive. It was a big step out in faith for us, but it was something that we were passionate. We wanted to do. We understand the need of having investments and residual income. And this was our method to doing it. And then it became pretty apparent right away after we'd signed the paperwork and started with the property management company that was doing the rentals, because we were doing it all through a company, that the expenses of what we thought was going to be were not at all what we thought, right? They were significantly more expensive. So, as with most things, you ended up costing you more money and you have to invest more time and energy into it, which is okay, right? There are things that popped up. But then it came down to the income wasn't at all what was kind of advertised or indicated as we went through this process, which again is a setback. And we came to a decision because ultimately we came into a really hard stopping point where there was a leak in the house and we had to decide, do we cut and run, like fire sale the house, like, hey, the next investor, here's this, we're going to walk away from it with as little damage to us as possible, but probably even owing something or getting rid of it and letting somebody else deal with this problem because it was going to be very significant to do the repairs? Or do we keep fighting and try to get, because it was a fairly new house, but it was out of warranty in this community, or do we fight, between our property manager and us going to the builder to have this fixed because this was an obvious build problem. This wasn't an after the fact issue. But overall, because of that, and then, delays, money, out of pocket. This was this huge expense, and I would classify it as a failure. Even though at the end, we did end up recuperating our money in the form of the sale. But to me, it was pure kind of dumb luck that we happened to hit a hot market as it is 2021, 2022 in the U.S. as far as the housing market going a little bit nuts. And we were able to take advantage of that. And that was really our only saving grace as that happened. And we were able to walk away with a little bit of extra income on that. But it was, in my mind, a failure because we didn't do it to, flip the house in a year or anything of that nature, which is certainly a business plan. But for us, this was supposed to be this long-term, in 10 years and in 15 years, maybe we sell the house and make a good profit off of it. But it really had me starting down this road of self-doubt, even though I know this is something I want to do. I understand the benefits of it. I understand that real estate is a very sound investment for 9 times out of 10. But because of these wrong decisions and, did I not do enough due diligence? Did I not do enough research into what the rental market was really like? Did I not, all these questions start arising of how could I have done better and what did I miss? And it creates this self-doubt because now it's like, okay, well, what do I have to indicate that on the next one it would be any different, right? Certainly I've learned lessons and I've learned questions to ask, but there's always something you don't know. And I struggle with those doubts. And I do to this day. And even with business that we're trying to do with Kale Houser Leadership, there's things that we've tried that absolutely have not worked. Fortunately, and hopefully you probably haven't seen those, or maybe not fortunately you haven't seen them, because if you saw them, it would have worked. Then we're in this process and continual process of renegotiating what we're going to do with our time and resources and energy to try to get the results that we're wanting. And what it all comes down to, even though we have these doubts, and I am absolutely fortunate that I've got Liz, that we can kind of, when I go through my weak self-doubting moments, she's like, boom, right? She's the rock. And then same thing when her energy's low and she's had a couple setbacks or people that have said no to her and all these types of things, then I can say like, no, this is our purpose. Because Liz and I really do believe that Kale Houser Leadership is our purpose. That is our calling, is to help small business owners be successful and create amazing teams to where that they can provide not only for their employees and staff, but also generational for their business year in and year out, and really help them grow and succeed and thrive in this environment. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. What is your why? And I'm not saying our why is just to make income, to support our family, of course, but that is involved in it because we've got to eat and pay rent and all those types of things. But our why goes beyond that. Yes, I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to, be out on the street or live in the, in a ghetto or in a van down by the river kind of thing. But more than that, I want that to not be you. I want you to have success. I get really fulfillment from seeing your successes as a small business, from seeing those light bulbs go off in your head when you say, man, I was doing it this way, and now if I do this way, and boom, I got these results. And we've seen that with one of our clients, of these light bulbs and these little moments, and this momentum starts trucking and going. And because we can see the vision and that pathway for them, it really gets us going and gets us inspired. And that's what carries us through those moments of self-doubt. And the trick really is, obviously, don't wallow in them. It's okay to have setbacks and failures and things you've tried that haven't worked out. Take that moment to be like, right? I mean, we all have to kind of vent. We all have to go like, why didn't that work? That was supposed to work. Or I did this thing and I just totally fell flat on my face, and all those types of things. We have those reactions. But the key is get it out, let it go, refocus, figure out, how do I move forward from this? What did I learn? How do I not repeat whatever led to that failure? And maybe you don't know, and that's the time to find somebody else that has more experience than you, that you can bounce that off of. hey, shoot me an email at Kale at Kale Houser Leadership. I'd love to discuss it. Or drop it in the comments below. Absolutely love to discuss it. And we can kind of learn from each other. And you see this a lot all the time in certain communities and environments, like, hey, what's working in real estate right now? What's working in the CPA industry, right? They learn from each other. They're very collaborative in nature. But as you're going through this in your personal life, because it's very real and visceral and it's disappointing and it can just be depressing in general, don't stay there. Let it out. Do the thing that gets you going as far as releasing energy and tension and stress, whether it's going for a run or a bike ride or jumping in the lake or hiking a mountain or eating some ice cream, right? Whatever that is, but just don't stay there. Keep going. Go back to your process of why did you start this? What led you to the decision to, instead of saying no when you could have originally, to saying yes? And understand, like Grant Cardone says, right? Life is hard. Being broke is hard. Having a successful business is hard. Choose your hard. It's going to be hard no matter what you do. If you quit and go do something else, it's going to be hard, right? We understand that. And if you continue, there will be future setbacks. There will be future failures. There will be future disappointments. But through that is your success. Through that is that original inspiration of where you said yes to your thing, where you said yes to the mission trip, where you said yes to opening your own shop or your own practice, where you said yes to hiring your first employee, right? It happens. Let it go. Get over the doubt. Understand and figure out, if you haven't already, figure out what is your calling, what is your purpose and reason in doing this. Because it has to be more than just the money. It has to go beyond that. Because if it was just the money, go find a job, right? Look for that security. Owning your own business or starting your own thing probably isn't for you if it is just the money. That's never the case. Okay? All right. I hope this was beneficial. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'll try to be more vulnerable when I'm dealing with these doubts as I have been for this podcast, but certainly reach out to us, drop a comment, a like, subscription. We can help each other when we're dealing with these, because that's really what it is about. Join the Leadership Secrets Facebook group if you haven't already, where we really kind of get into each other's business a little bit as far as helping each other and collaborating and really lifting each other up when we've had these setbacks. Because there are people that are genuinely want you to succeed out there, and they enjoy seeing that, and they want to be part of that, and they have information that you don't have and that they can lend to you. Cool? All right, everybody. Have a fantastic afternoon no matter where you're at in the world. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.